Are we going to launching and start now, or?
I'll
As
just.
soon as he tells me we'll go, and then we're good to go.
Okay, reset.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Lunch and Learns here at Action Coaching Birmingham. It's good to have you at the start of a new, wonderful, fresh week of growing your business. And it's great to welcome with us this lunchtime Simon Washbrook from Popcorn. Simon, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much. Stephen, yourself?
Very well, very well. Whenever I talk to you, whenever I meet with you, Simon, I always feel I need to have a tub of popcorn in my hand just to eat as the conversation goes on. But no, it's good to have you with us, Simon. Well, it's a good question actually. Are you a sweet or salted guy? You know, what would you prefer?
I like to have a mix. It's always good to have it in there. Very political answer.
I'm a sweet guy myself, you know, as my partner will tell you. We'll move on quickly. So, but no, Simon, great to have you with us from Popcorn. And I know we're going to be talking this lunchtime all about CRMs and how to get the most out of a CRM and exactly how a CRM can benefit a business. So we'll dive into that in a few minutes. But before we get into that conversation, Simon, I just your contact details on the screen. But for those listeners who are with us perhaps for the first time, it's good to have you with us. We are both live on Facebook and also on the Zoom platform. So if you have any questions and answers for either Simon or myself as we go through the next sort of 40 minutes or so, please do put them in onto the Zoom platform, put them onto the Facebook platform. And my colleague Emily is monitoring that in the background, and she will feed any questions in as I will also pick them up myself. So please, and also if it's your first time, give us a like. And possibly share us with your clients, with your contacts on Facebook. And if you're with us for more than once, if you're back a second or third time, you know, give us a bit of love, give us one of those love hearts. And we'd also love to know where you're listening to us from. We tend to work with clients around Birmingham, but we do reach further afield. And over lockdown, we've been over the pond to Vancouver. We've been into Europe and into France. And we've also been around the UK with listeners around the UK as they've been on their holidays. So it's good to have you listening wherever you are right now this lunchtime. But Simon, it's also great to have you with us. I can see you're a fan of Lego, so we've got a lot in common already, Simon. But when you're not building your Lego Death Star Vader? No, the Death.
It's got Lego Death Star. I'm in the process of building the effect for any Star Wars geeks out there. I'm in the process of building the cantina from Mos Eisley at the moment.
Because I know you recently celebrated a significant or insignificant birthday. Every birthday is significant, isn't it? But that was your gift, was it? The latest Star Wars?
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant. And I love
my family's frustration. Sorry.
No, I say I love Lego for many reasons, but one is great for mental health. But I also love the fact, you know, you follow a clear set of instructions. It's about systemizing. We do a lot about systemizing the business. We're here at Action Coach, but follow the system and you'll get the result you want. So I look forward to Simon next time we have a catch up to seeing your new Lego set on display in the background. But for now, Simon, let's stick to the topic in hand. Tell us a bit about Popcorn and what you do.
So Popcorn, we class ourselves as really simple to use customer acquisition software that kind of makes the process of winning customers an absolute joy. So that's us really. We kind of have all the essential tools that an average SME needs in one place. So that's everything from your CRM, email marketing, landing pages, sales pipelines, web tracking, lead automation, all of it put together in one really simple to use platform. And if I was going to throw some metrics in there as well, we typically generate a return on investment of £185 for every £1 people spend with us and increase sales conversion rates by 200%. So that's us.
Brilliant, Simon. Well, the one question actually I've always been dying to ask you, Simon, and I may as well take the opportunity while I've got you here, is why Popcorn? Where did Popcorn, the name, come from?
Oh, I can try and give you the professional marketing answer if you like, or I can tell you the real one.
Well, let's go with both, but let's go for the real reason first.
Real reason is I've worked on branding projects with companies of all sizes, whether that was when I was in my past life in BMW Group, or whether it was working as a marketing consultant prior to this. I sort of kind of get what the value of what brand does and the message and the type of things it needs to represent. So I knew I need the type of word I needed. So I sat down with a bottle of wine one evening, went through the dictionary to find those sort of words, and then looked for a domain name that was available. So that's actually how it came about.
I was thinking it was saying from the small kernel comes something so tasty and sweet, or, you know, from something small, something big grows. But you've gone for a bottle of wine and a domain name. But no, tell us the marketing reason, Simon. Tell us the
The
marketing reason.
marketing answer is Popcorn is about popping the leads out of your database.
Ah, there we go. I like it. I like it. So we're going to be finding out a bit more about that in a moment. Again, and I hope that between our jovial conversation this lunchtime, you will get some BFOs, either from what Simon's saying or indeed from myself. What is a BFO? Simon, for those who are with us the first time, a BFO is a blinding flash of the obvious. And I'm sure we'll both be saying things, and even when we have this conversation outside of these webinars, Simon and I, catch up regularly. I'll often have a BFO and talk to Simon, and yes, I could be doing that differently, or yes, that's what I need to be doing, or we're always learning. Every day is a learning day in my life, but hopefully today we'll connect some of that information in your mind together. You'll have that aha moment where bits of information you previously know is connected together. We're going to close the circuit, and you'll go away buzzing like a light bulb, bright and shining brightly, to be able to improve or update or think more clearly about CRMs in your business. But Simon, I guess the question to start off with is, what is a CRM and why should we have one? What do you reckon? What's your thoughts on that?
I suppose it's a really big answer, but to answer it quite quickly, it's because data, which is what a CRM in essence, a CRM is a database. Data is at the absolute heart of your business. If you don't manage and look after your data, what you're basically doing is you're having your data all over the place because you're using loads of bits of software, and because of that, you then start missing sales, you're losing opportunities, and it just all builds up into a bit of a mess. You don't know where you are. And because of that, then you end up wasting absolutely loads of time. And because it's at the heart of what you're doing as well, if you can get your data right in the form of a CRM in a really simple place, what that does, it means it can join all your processes up together. So when I say that, I mean, all of a sudden you can suddenly see what your sales prospects are going to look like over the next 6 months. Or if you need to drive some sales, you can suddenly pick out the people that are engaging with you and looking at your website and doing all this. So you know who to target and who to have a conversation with, and more importantly, what to have that conversation with them about. And the scary statistic that sort of comes from it is that a typical established SME, when they're not using CRM, is they lose £70,000 a year because of lost sales and missed opportunities, which is a huge amount of money. So if you needed any more encouragement, there it is, really. But
it sounds like a very familiar conversation I have when I'm working with business owners, Simon, and they'll tell me about some of the problems and challenges faced in their business, along with the successes, which is also great to celebrate. But when I talk about or discuss some of the challenges, we then, when you start to put that into monetary terms, you then suddenly realize just how much not having a CRM or not adapting the business or not dealing with the challenge and in the business can cost you over a period of time. So it's an interesting point you make. The cost of not having a decent data management system in the business is huge, I'm sure.
It's completely, and even if you just take out the point of these huge amounts of these projects, you're losing opportunities and you're missing on. It comes down to the time you spend as well. Because if you're having to keep, and this is what typically most sort of starter smaller SMEs do, is I've got it all up here, it's all up in my head. Don't worry, I don't forget anything. You're occupying a huge chunk of your headspace, your thinking power, retaining that knowledge. Forget about the stuff that drops out. But you can't then focus on all the other stuff, whereas the CRM kind of says, these are the people you need to pick the phone up and speak to today. It just makes your life a lot easier.
Yes, and if I was to go on the CRM journey, for many clients I've worked with in the past and have spoken to recently, working with recently, it goes from being up here to being on a spreadsheet to being on a CRM. They seem to be the evolutionary journey into a data management in many organizations. It's the head, the spreadsheet, and then they get to the CRM and thinking about the CRM. But I guess, Simon, there are so many CRMs out there, yourselves included. There's Popcorn, there's the likes of HubSpot, Zoho, Salesforce, and I'll keep regurgitating those probably swear words in your mind of your competitors.
No, they're all good.
There are so many, and I guess they all do slightly different things. So you may not have seen my next slide, but all these different things are benefits of having a great CRM. But which one? Paul's asked the question already. He's a small SME. What CRM would best suit his business? And I guess there's not a one size fits all answer to that, Sam. But tell us a bit more about what should you be considering when you're going to look for your first CRM.
I suppose the simplest way to answer that is, what do you need? So, and when I say these things, please, I'm not knocking them, because those systems you just mentioned are brilliant for the businesses that are in that place. But
Yeah.
if your business doesn't need every single bell and whistle, don't have it, because all it's going to do, it's going to cloud your vision and prevent you from getting to the point where you actually need all those bits and pieces. So look at what your business needs at this moment in time, and then work out what you need to do with the simplest route to get yourself to grow. Because if you can focus on the moment where you are now and what you actually need to achieve it, then you're more likely to get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, a bit of a BFA in my mind, Simon, from what you're saying. You need a car to get from A to B. So, you need to get a car. You don't necessarily go and buy the Rolls Royce straight away, would you? Get the simplest, most cost efficient vehicle at the beginning. And then once you've once you've got to drive confidently and you've built up your business, then perhaps go in for the next model up or go for your, slightly flashier car. But at the moment, it's just getting the basics in place and starting with the right CRM, I guess, is what you're saying, that does the job.
And exactly, and to stick with the analogy of the car, even if you were to go and buy yourself a Rolls Royce, but you've got to start moving a bunch of fridges around, it's going to be completely inappropriate for you, and it means that you're not actually going to be able to do your job. Because in the terms of CRM, if you've just got to quickly put some notes on and throw some ideas and say, oh, remind me to call this person next week or whatever it is, or quickly drop them into that point in the sales pipeline, you're not going to be able to. It's going to take 5 minutes when you only need to spend seconds doing it, rather than trying to carefully put the car inside your lovely Rolls Royce.
Yeah, no, Simon, I'm sitting here chuckling to myself, following on from our conversation on Friday, where one might deliberately go and buy the soft tops that haven't got to take the kids to school. But
I would never admit to that.
Would never admit to that at all. But no, absolutely, it's about getting the right product that fits your business at the right time and right stage and growth of your business. And are there different types of CRM out there, Simon? Or is one CRM pretty much the same as the next on the shelf?
Yeah, completely. So I suppose I kind of divide CRMs up into 3 different types. So you've got your entry level ones, and if I talk in terms of one of the most commonly known ones, which is sort of putting a bit of a CRM badge on themselves at the moment, is MailChimp, which predominantly is an email marketing platform, and they've given the ability to drop some notes in there, but they're wearing that badge. That's great if you just want to be able to keep some notes and send some emails. But what most people find is they kind of then end up having several bits of other software that runs around it, separately. You've then got sort of the opposite end of the spectrum. When they're using that, those sort of entry-level ones, they end up spending loads of time trying to do it, and that's where they lose the data and lose the sales prospecting, because they can't join all that information up together properly. The opposite end of the spectrum is things like the ones you've just mentioned, HubSpot, Salesforce, Zoho, Dynamics, if you want to get really big and scary. Those systems are brilliant if you're a big organization. If you've got the time, the money, and the manpower to run something like that, it'll do amazing things for your business. But people often what they think is they have to jump from these sort of entry-level products where they've got loads of bits and pieces, perhaps with 1 up to sort of a few employees, and they suddenly go to move to these bigger bits of software, which do have some entry-level stuff in, but in essence, they're built around these really complex systems. And that's when I was saying at the start of, think about what you want to achieve, because if you go for these big systems, you'll kind of enter into paralysis, whether it's because you've got too much work to do, or whether it's just to be too cost prohibitive, whatever it is. But if you have got the resource to manage that, it's going to be brilliant for you, because the reporting you can get out of it and the amount you can drill down is really good. Then you kind of get to the middle part, which is what Popcorn is. We kind of fit that gap to give you, as sort of said, the essential stuff, but without being overwhelming. So in essence, that's my kind of 3 things. If I was to go down the analogy route, it's kind of like the difference between the entry-level stuff. It's kind of like trawler fishing, really. You cast these big nets out, you see what you can catch, and you just haul everything in, but you've got bits of information from everywhere, and it's great because it's giving you loads of stuff. but you can't kind of analyze and understand it. Whereas the HubSpots and stuff, that's kind of like going line fishing, really, because you're getting these one specific thing out of it, and you spend a lot of time, you've caught that huge big fish, it's taking you a long time to get, and it's worked brilliantly for doing that. And so the sort of middle systems are a bit like spearfishing, where you dive down in the water, you see what you want, shoot the gun and pull it back to the surface. So how does that make sense?
No, it's great, Sam. So just to sort of summarize it, what questions should any business owner be asking themselves when going out to look at the CRM, to make a choice about the CRM? So you say it depends on what you want. So what should the business owner be asking themselves when making that decision?
Okay, first question is, what do I need from it? Why am I doing this? So that, because if you don't need one, don't do it.
That's
okay?
A great point.
Most people do need it because they've got data and they've got stuff coming in, but then go, well,
yeah.
What level do I need to be at this? Can I keep it in a spreadsheet? As long as I've got all my data in one place, brilliant, because you can then move from one system to another and upgrade as your business needs it. The second bit, why do I need it, which is what I've just said, but also how much time have I got to devote to this? So if you're rushed off your feet, again, keep your process as simple as possible. And that doesn't matter whether you're a one-man band or whether you've got 100 employees behind you. You just need to make sure it fits the organization, and whether that's from a cultural point of view or just purely from a time management perspective, if people have got the time to do it, they will do it. If it's too complicated, the process, then they won't achieve it.
No, it's a great point about time, actually. And, CRMs are a great time saver once you've got them working effectively, haven't they? But, many clients and business owners I've spoken to in the past, just, a big BFO for them is about valuing time. And, we wouldn't go and dish out £50 notes into the street and say, here, Simon, have £50, no come back. But yet we seem to do that with our time. We give our time and we spend time on things that actually we could be more efficient in thinking how we can use that. It's the only resource that is finite. So a CRM, I guess, makes a great use of our time in terms of being efficient, efficiently managing our clients. And a bit like the bubbles in the test tube at the top of the screen there, it depends on how much analysis you want to get out of your data. But just thinking about data, Simon, data protection, GDPR now, I guess that's another key consideration when, holding data in other formats, I'm thinking about Excel spreadsheets, etc. It's about making sure that we are being GDPR compliant. And I know we're not going to get into that today. We do separate webinars and workshops on that, but it is just making sure. So I don't know if I've gone blank. Making sure that we're GDPR compliant.
Yeah, no, completely. And there's several steps you can do to ensure compliance. But it's one of the biggest questions I often get asked, is because people panic over it. And it's right, you've got to make sure you are fully compliant and that you're doing all the right steps. But for instance, I was it back on May 25th, a couple of years ago when GDPR was launched. The ICO have taken a very different approach. Historically, they were always very much this sort of dog with teeth that came and attacked, but they've kind of turned around a bit now, and they've become a lot more communicative. So if you talk to them and understand and have this conversation, and even if you say, which you shouldn't, hopefully you won't do, but say, look, guys, something's gone wrong, they often talk to you. And this is what they were saying when they did the whole GDPR launch. So don't let it be scared of you. Don't let it stop you doing stuff. Just put the right steps in place to make sure that you're fully compliant. And as long as you're doing that, and one of those things would be your CRM, because you're keeping all that data together in one place. And if from an opt-in point of view and a communications preferences, if someone says they don't want to receive it, you just record it in there, and they won't get any comms coming out in the future. It's really, and that's just one of the little benefits that CRM brings.
I guess it's doing exactly what it says in the tin: customer relationship management. It's managing those customers in the right way, so they get the right experience out of you as a business, and you get the right information out of them to be able to grow them as a client. It's that two-way experience, isn't it?
Exactly.
So somebody's got their CRM, in whether it's Popcorn or hopefully it's Popcorn, but if not, another CRM. What are the top tips, Simon, in terms of business owners or colleagues getting the most out of their CRM, on an ongoing basis?
So I suppose there's three really, which I would say, well, four. One, well, no, keep it simple. And you've heard me use the phrase simple so many times during this, but it is the absolute heart. If you try to overcomplicate, you try to be too clever about something, it's going to fall over. So look at what you need to achieve, look at the simplest way to do it, and then start doing it. Don't try and start doing, as the old phrase of, don't try and run before you can walk. What do I need to get started? Focus on that step one, and then step two will fall out, and so onwards. That would be the sort of the first tip. The next one I would say is keep it regular, because often some businesses will go, right, I've got my CRM, and then they'll go, right, I'm going to spend a morning getting my data right, or I'm going to put up the data on my notes. And when they do that, they then find excuses, reasons not to do it. And you go into the whole phase of procrastination and all of that. But so just spend 10 minutes a day. And that's all you need to spend. Or after every time you've had a conversation, just log in and throw a note in, which takes seconds. And do that. And then the final one I would say is, and it's a phrase, we recently interviewed a guy called Andy Bounds, who's voted as the UK's top sale trainer. And one of the top tips he gives, which is actually all around CRM, is he does a 5 at 5. And every day at 5 o'clock, he spends 5 minutes reviewing every single meeting and conversation he's had during the day. And then he goes and makes sure the notes are put into the CRM, and any emails are sent out to them at the end of it. And that way, if you do those sort of 3 things, especially that 5 at 5, your CRM will always be up to date. It will always be valuable, and it will always be generating you, though, give you that visibility, so it generates you more business.
Yeah, no, Andy Bounds, I've heard him speak myself, but the 5 at 5, certainly a BFO for me today. It's just such a simple thing, isn't it? And we talk a lot in Action Coach about discipline. You know, successful people are successful because they do simple tasks in a disciplined way every single day. And that, it sounds like that's a key message from you, Simon, in terms of CRM, keeping it up to date, maintaining it. You know, once you've had a conversation, or once a day, say 5 at 5, you know, go and update and feedback and input in the information, because that information has a value, doesn't it? You know, by keeping it in there, keeping it up to date, especially if you're growing your business and you've got multiple people accessing the CRM, you know, it's a great communication tool internally as well.
Exactly. And I think one of the other key things, which a lot of people don't think about, is later on in the journey, which I know that one of the things you guys do is you focus on growing the business to sell it or do something with this business. And your database, as I sort of said at the start, it's the absolute heart of your business. And a company whose data's all over the place and they can't see the bigger picture is often valued far less than one that has it all kept together and everybody in that business is utilizing it. It's where you move from being sort of that value of, when you talk about sales values, sort of 1-2 times the value, to moving up to 6 times.
Yeah, you know, we talk a lot about a commercial profitable enterprise that works without you, and it's that without you bit, isn't it? You know, if we can get the data into a centralized format document, there goes my screen again. You know, it's really important to make sure it's there so that you're adding value to the business. Simon, in terms of top tips when coming to choose a CRM, or any big challenges you face with some of your clients and things you actually say, well, I wouldn't do it that way. You know, I'd perhaps focus on doing it this way. What are some of the challenges your clients have faced with when when they're coming to you, having used CRMs in the past? Does that make sense?
It does completely. And it depends where they are in the journey. Are they moving down from one of the complex systems to us, or are they moving from these entry-level ones and bringing it all together? But the key one tends to be data and having that all together. So what I would say to anybody that's thinking about whether they're moving to CRM for the first time or whether they're moving from one system to another is just look at your data and understand it. So if you don't need all of this information and it's just superfluous to what you need, why bring it over? Why manage it? Keep your data as simple and as clean as possible, and you'll find you can move it around and then you can utilize it far more in a system.
Any top tips? You've got Claire just asking for keeping the CRM up to date. What are your thoughts on that?
Regularity. Sorry, go on, Steve, you're saying.
No, you say you've talked about, you know, clean data. So I guess, yeah, Claire's just asking about that. You know, how do you keep it up to date? Any top tips?
Well, that's the joy of and if they might want to clarify a bit more around it, but once you've got it in the system, as long as you keep it updated and you're regularly going in there after every meeting and putting a note in about somebody, or if somebody has changed a role, updating that data or changing the tags on them, it's always up to date. And it's all because it's in that one place. You're not having to reflect that through to all the other different systems. It does it automatically for you. So yeah, spend that 10 minutes a day, or after every single meeting, just spend a minute or so updating your information, and you won't need to worry about data being up to date.
And how often should an organization, Simon, reflect on, I've worked for organizations in the past, I've had the same CRM for sort of 20 years. It's how often should an organization think, well, actually, review their CRM, maybe retender or think about updating, changing it? What are your thoughts around that? Is it saying that, once you've chosen your provider, it's stick with it for a long term, or is it,
No.
like the utility bills we change every year?
No, I wouldn't say change every year, but what I would do is look at your business. Is it fit for purpose? So going back, I'm going back to my analogy here. If you're using all these entry-level systems, is that working for you? If you're finding that you're spending too much time or you're losing the opportunities, then yes, it's time to change something else. Or if you're on a complex system and your staff are complaining all the time because it takes too long, or you're spending too much on maintenance bills, all that sort of stuff, then yes, it's time to change. But if it's working perfectly and everybody's happy with it, then perhaps you don't need to change at that stage. But by asking yourself those questions, or that key question, that's the one which will drive the change, because there are often, as you said at the start, there's loads of systems out there. It's finding the right one.
Brilliant advice. And listeners, I apologize. I've had an iOS update on my Apple software here, and my screen share on my second screen seems to keep cutting out. So I do apologize if it goes blank.
You're coming through to us fine.
That's great. I don't want to distract from the words of wisdom, Simon, the pearls of wisdom that you're sharing with our listeners. So Simon, in terms of Popcorn, I don't want to sort of deflect from what you do at Popcorn. So if somebody was coming to you, what would be the start of that process in terms of what you do at Popcorn and how you could support a business to grow and move forwards?
So I suppose, do you mean in this physical process of how they go about it, or as in what they're looking to achieve?
I get a bit of both. Yeah, far away.
Okay, so coming over to Popcorn is really simple. So if you visit the website popcorn.email, you go on there. We've got at the moment, we've got two levels of package. So we've got the Essentials package, which gives you CRM, or basic CRM, gives you sales pipelines, and it gives you task management and reminders. That's all there. Literally got to click on the sign up button, drop the details in, and they're all set up. That costs £5 a month. As with all the packages, there are no contracts, no fees, no hidden upgrade. Also, no hidden upgrade fees in there, and people can cancel when they like. They kind of stay with us because they want to. If they're looking for sort of the full-blown system, that costs £49 a month, and it gives you everything I've just mentioned. Plus, it will give you automated lead generation. It'll give you landing pages. It'll give you website tracking, and it's all done in that one really simple to use place. To onboard, to move the software over to us, it's a simple import of a spreadsheet, or we're going to be launching soon a bit of software called Zapier, which connects you to loads of other systems, so data can flow freely between them.
Brilliant. So a fairly simple process, it sounds, which is great. Sandeep has just asked a question, Simon. What are the basics you should be looking for when choosing a CRM? What are the basic functionalities you should be asking or seeking? You've covered that partly, but just for clarity, perhaps you could just highlight, whether it's Popcorn or anybody else, what are the basic functions that you should be expecting from a CRM?
Well, as I've sort of said, there's several CRM systems out there. So it depends on what you want the CRM to do for your business. So if I talk in terms of Popcorn, what Popcorn will do for you is a basic functionality. It allows you to put all your data together in one place and you to be able to manage them. From that, you'll want to be able to see meeting notes. You'll be able to put all that sort of commenting in there, add reminders so it tells you when you need to follow up with somebody. It'll also be able to give you sales pipelines, because with Popcorn, we put a big focus on the actual sales function, because that's what people want. We find is they want to be able to generate their sales from their data rather than just being this kind of database which does nothing. We turn it organic. So that's what you need to be looking at as, right, how am I going to use this? How can my business take full advantage of the bits of software on there, and find the one which has got the right bits to match what you need. Don't overwhelm yourself with everything. Well, chatbots, if you don't need those, don't pay for them, and that sort of stuff. Find stuff that's really relevant to you so you can move forwards.
And I guess, as you said several times, Simon, keep it simple, and you know, a bit like choosing a car. We'll go back to the car analogy. You know, think of what the essential features that you are looking for in that vehicle, in the CRM, and then think of the, you know, the desirables. You know, what would it be nice to have over and above, and then go out there and see what's on the marketplace and what works best for you. And I guess budget driven as well. You know, that's going to be a part of it. I'm sure, as you said, someone can go and spend tens of thousands of pounds, even thousands of pounds a month, but you know, it just depends on what you want and what you know, what is business critical for your organization at this stage.
Exactly. And if I can sort of just add to that, because you absolutely hit a nail on the head there, is one of the joys with tech and software is that you can go on the web and you can start comparing everything. Before you do that, the one huge bit of advice I would give you is, and I sort of said this, but what does this need to do for my business? Okay. And then don't get caught up when you're looking at all these systems going, oh, it can do this, and there's a shiny button here and it does that. And because as you start adding all these bits in, one, the cost goes up, two, complexity goes up, and you get away from the core function of what your CRM should be doing for you. So pick that out, focus on what you need, it needs to do for today, so you can get to tomorrow.
Brilliant. And another question from Paul, he's asking, do all CRMs are all CRMs suitable for all industries? I don't know. I mean, I can think of CRMs I've used in the not-for-profit sector that I see less common in the private sector. So I guess some CRMs, Simon, are going to be specific, you know, say not-for-profit, you know, for the voluntary sector might be more appropriate for them. But generally, is it fair to say that most CRMs will work in most industries, Simon?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, though any CRM, as I say, a CRM is just a database. It's just a way of keeping right. These are my contacts. This is what I need to do with them, and a way of managing them. Where you get into the specialist ones. So, for instance, there was I can think of a client who we worked with. They got some amazing results from us. So we put somebody you and myself know. We put 10% on their bottom line as an estate agent by using us. What it really highlighted to them is the benefits of digital, and how embracing digital, and that will allow their business to grow. So what they ended up doing was saying, right, then we need this, this, and this, and they will end up moving and evolving. And this is where I talk about the benefits of data being able to flow smoothly. They then moved into a specialist piece of CRM software and estate agency software. They incorporated all their key systems together. But what they've done is they started off and they went, right, then this is what I need now. And they evolved. And then they got a bit of software that was absolutely spot on for them.
Brilliant. So it's, I guess, like many things, it's, you know, it's worth trialing different software. You know, come and have a go with you at Popcorn, see if it works for you. You know, it might. I guess it's fair to say, not a bit like coaching. Not every coach works with every organization. It's going to be, you know, the right fit for both client and ourselves. And I guess it's the same for you. It's, you know, it's finding the right solution that meets your business needs.
Exactly. Yeah.
The best starting point is, as we've come back to many times with Claire and Paul's question and Sandeep's question, you know, go back to what do you need from the business, and then, you know, start, you know, looking to see what the market can offer to meet those needs as well. I'm just going to check in with Emily, Simon, to see if there's any questions on the Facebook page. I know we've been answering lots of questions on Zoom. Emily, anything on the Facebook?
No, not at the minute. I think you've covered everything.
Right. Good. Well, Simon, just in case anybody's got any further questions, just while they're typing in the keyword, maybe just before we finish, I'll put your details on the screen. And if somebody is interested in finding out more about your CRM Popcorn and how it can benefit their business, what's the first step, and what would that look like, Simon?
So first step to find out about us is if you go to popcorn.email, there's on that page, there's two great tools in there. One is, this is where I am. Well, how would this describe me? And it kind of goes, my data's all over the place, or I'm this type of company. And you can just click on the button to get a quick explanation to see whether we're a fit for you. And it gives you some tips and advice in there. There's also a great explainer video showing, if I do say so myself, a great explainer video kind of showing how Popcorn generates that sort of return on investment of the £185 for every pound people spend with us. So that'll kind of give you a flavour. And then say it's just a matter of clicking on the button to get started. The other thing, which I suppose might be helpful as well, is we've put together a completely free training guide, which perhaps if you want to share afterwards, Steve, which talks all about how to generate a qualified sales pipeline using CRM and email marketing. So, and that's got 12 bite-sized videos going through everything from here's how I grow a database, here's how I manage it, right the way through to communication styles, all that sort of stuff.
That sounds brilliant, Simon. You say that's a freebie for those who are listening today on your website. Is that right?
Yeah, simply go to popcorn.email/free training. That's popcorn.email/free training. But yeah, and log in at sort of just underneath the video, and you get direct access to all those training videos.
That sounds like an amazing and very generous offer, Simon. And so if you've got any, if you've got that sort of inquisitive mind as to how to make the best out of a CRM, there's lots of useful training, advice, guidance, and tips from you on those links, Simon. So it's just again, so it's popcorn.email.
Oh, you dropped out, Steve. So popcorn.email/free training.
/free training. Brilliant. Okay, we'll make sure that link's.
I'll send that over to us, I think, for you in a moment.
Fantastic. So anybody listening, we'll make sure that comes onto the YouTube channel and also onto the Facebook channel as well. So, but Simon, it's been great having you with us today. Just out of interest, do any of your training videos include Lego? Is it using Lego to pull the pieces of the jigsaw together, or is it purely professional, Simon?
Not in this video, although we were just we were shortlisted for Disruptor of the Year in the Great British Entrepreneur Awards this year, and we had to do one of the videos we had to do was all around the pitch as to why we've got there, and I did have my whole Lego collection in the background, and I gave a competition and thinking there to see how many different models somebody could spot.
Brilliant. That's well, congratulations on the. Is it a nomination? Did you say?
Well, it was a shortlisting, so I was down to the final 4.
Brilliant. That's it shows the value you can add to any business by the support you give and through having a good quality CRM at the heart, and it should be at the heart of any good business, actually, shouldn't it, Simon? To manage the data, most of the contacts and the opportunities that are there, very often under people's nose, but it's just making the best use of that data in front of them and sort of I say drilling down to get the right solution for the right prospect. So it's been great having you with us today, Simon, learning a bit more about Popcorn, but also just some of the top tips and benefits of having a great CRM in the business. Your details are on the screen, Simon, if anybody wants to contact you. They are the right details, I hope. I always check with clients and guests as they come on to the lunch and learns. I've yet to get anything wrong, but just want to double check with you the right details on the screen. And equally, brilliant. And equally, if you have any questions about coaching and want to know a bit more about Action Coach here in Birmingham, if it's your first time of listening to us this lunchtime, please do get in touch. My contact details are on the screen as well. And a bit like Simon, we also are offering an opportunity to find out a bit more about coaching. Oh, my screen has just gone at the critical moment. I don't know if you can see my screen still.
You're coming through fine.
It's brilliant. So it's an opportunity again just to find out a bit more about Action Coach, and our founder Brad Sugars has put 30 of his videos together. So it's 30x, it's 30 videos, and we're offering that over 30 days, half an hour a day. We talked about discipline earlier on in the webinar this lunchtime, Simon. 30 days, half an hour, just to get to understand a bit about how you can grow your business and drive it forward. So we're offering that 30 years of Brad's experience over 30 days for 30 minutes. And it's just £30 to sign up to get to dip your toes in the water and see if that's something that would help you to grow your business. So if that is something that would appeal to you, then please do get in touch. Again, I'm going to put my contact and Simon's contact details on the screen. My screen's playing all sorts at the moment. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's switched around. Something's going wrong. I'm going to take the screen share off, Simon, and just talk to you face to face. There we go. I don't know what's going on with my technology today. But if you'd like to get in touch with us here at Action Coaching Birmingham, please do email us at birmingham@actioncoach.com. And if you want to get in touch with Simon, it's simon@popcorn.email. We'd both love to hear from you and just have that conversation to see if we can help you further, either with your coaching or with your CRM needs. But for now, Simon, I'm going to go away and see what gremlins have got into my technology here in my office. But thank you again for joining us. I love your T-shirt, by the way. Thinking almost fully loaded, Simon. Almost fully loaded.
Doesn't progress past that point half the time.
But no, we'll make sure the links are put in the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. And thank you again, Simon, for joining us. It's great to have you with us, and we'll make sure we repeat this this Lunch and Learn webinar in perhaps 6-8 weeks time. I'll make sure my technology is working properly by then, and we'll look forward to catching up with all our Lunch and Learn guests again. Join us on Thursday for another Lunch and Learn with Action Coach here in Birmingham. But for now, stay well, stay safe, and have a great week.
Thanks
Take
very
care
much.
now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.